Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Oh yeah, we're painting again. That's not paint, this is a piece of chalk. That's because I'm going to do a quick design on the canvas. I'm going to use this picture I took in the woods as my base for the painting. I'm not going to do it exact, I'm going to use this as my reference for a bit of realism. And what I mean by that is when I make stuff up in my head and I just paint out of my mind, sometimes you can miss the realistic way the light hits the tree, or the way the different colours around, and there's things you kind of, for some reason in my mind, I miss things out. So if I have a photo, I can use that as ideas. But it doesn't completely stop you from making stuff up as well. But anyway, I like the idea of the light poking through here, and this is really why I like this photo. I mean, I was actually out there to try and take pictures of the birds, the wildlife, but couldn't get it to it kept flying away. Great big buzzards and things like that, and I just couldn't get them. Wherever I went, they went the other way. There was one time when I was walking through and I got a right shock because there was a baby one, and the mum flew out of the woods right at me. I was like, whoa! She wasn't happy I was there, that's for sure. Scared the bejesus out of me. Right, so I'm aiming for this light there and there that sort of pokes through, and there's light areas here and here, and a few bits there and a few bits over here. And then it's the darkness of this tree, dark leaves in front. So we've got quite a lot of depth here, and yeah, can have some fun painting this. I'm always thinking about enjoyment as well, you know. When I'm picking a painting, I want to enjoy myself, so I think we forget that, you know. I think I have in the past. I've forgotten that I started painting because it looked fun. And I started getting all serious about it, and then you can lose the fun if you're too serious. You start stressing out. God, I can't paint as good as them. Can't paint as good as her or him. I'll never make it. I'm gonna be poor forever. Start thinking like that, and you forget that, you know, do it for enjoyment. Enjoy yourself. Forget the idea. Well, I shouldn't say that because everyone's different. But forget the idea of fame and fortune. Just go for enjoyment. Not that I started painting for fame or fortune, to be honest. I started because I thought it'd be fun and enjoy it, and then that is the reason why I started. Enjoyment. Enjoying your painting. That's what you want to be doing. Sit back. Oops. Realise you've made a mess. I might leave that actually. I've added more light than there was in the picture, but then I quite like the idea of the light, the triple light. Sort of roundedness there. I quite like that. It's quite nice, quite nice. Now, quick little tip for you while I'm doing this. I covered my palette with cling film and I only had a couple of colours left. I cleaned my palette around those paints, cling filmed it and then pressed it on the actual palette so it stuck really tight. Took it off and the paints are ready to use again. So that was good. Right, so now I'm looking at all these different colours, different shapes, start thinking of building things up, blocking things. So there's a few ways you can do it. You can go quite dark and put in a dark tone. I'm just going to get some blue, and this is viridian green, ultramarine blue, yellow, chrome yellow that is, yellow ochre, nice yellow ochre, bit of the brown, burnt umber. Some of that's dried out a little bit actually. It's one of the colours that does dry. Let's have a look at that. That one's alright. It's burnt sienna. That one's alright. So I'm going to put some darker areas in. And then I'm going to put light on top. Just scrubbing it on. Like I said, there's many ways you can do it. This is just one way. This way you can start getting in the different lights and darks already, and I've thrown in some burnt sienna and yellow ochre in this, make a different dark. I didn't go through my colours, did I? But we've got viridian green, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, burnt umber, chrome yellow, yellow ochre and titanium white. To do this should be enough colours, hopefully, and might use this just to do that bit. Cut across there, cut across the light. I'll do. So I'm putting these darker spots. But it's scrubbed on. That's the trick with this. If you're putting on the paint really thick, you're not going to be able to put the paint on top of it. That's the trick. You're scrubbing it on. It's just, covering. Some painters would paint this in stages, and they would paint so much, let it dry, and then paint some more. or they'll use mediums and things to, like they'll put a paint thinner or something in with their paint which evaporates, and then it leaves the paint that's left, which is scrubbed really thin. Now you can still do the same thing just by scrubbing it thin. You scrub it like this, you're doing the same thing. It just means you've got to put a bit more effort into it to scrub the paint on. It's, you know, all different ways to do it. None of them are wrong, they're just different. So you can go a bit lighter in the lighter areas, darker in the darker areas. Again, we're just scrubbing paint still. There's another way they call this the blocking in method. Blocking in colour. Once it's all sort of blocked in, a bit like mist, you know, sort of different misty colours. So I remember when I first learned blocking in, and I was really like shocked at it. And what I was shocked at was, for some reason in my head, I used to think that painters would just put paint next to each other. They wouldn't have like paint under it or anything like that. They just would put paint on, and then that was it. Later I found that wasn't the case. Well, not for everybody. Some actually do that. They just put paint next to each other. Yeah, so there we go. That's a good start. Happy with that. Might get a bit more of that dark colour and just go. Putting all these different tree trunks. You see them, and you see them here and there, and you, of course, you don't as well. They vanish a lot of the time behind. I quite like those blue lights. I'm going to cover them up a little bit and get rid of them a little bit. Send them away quite a lot, but it makes a good start. Now I'm going to start putting in brush strokes. Brush strokes. Now that the base of the painting's there, we can enhance it now using colour. So I'll get some yellow, I'll put it here, get a little bit of this green. Yellow ochre, bit of cad yellow. To me that's, you know, it's a bit too yellow. I mean too green. Too yellow, too green. I like that green. Put some of this in here. I'm going to use little brush strokes. Just dance them around a bit here. Some will have a bit more light than others. A little bit there as well. I want a bit more yellow. A bit more yellow ochre in my colour. Kind of stroking it like that. Might get a bit of crimson in the colour. A bit more yellow in it. Just have a look at that. Always sort of sitting back, having a look. A bit more of a clump there. A bit more of that yellow. So you can either press the brush like that and get that nice strong yellow, or you can, pull it out. I like to do different kind of strokes to change it. A variety of strokes makes it a more interesting picture. More browns and yellow ochres in that there. Some browns in there. Yellow ochre. Just kind of sit back, have a look, see what you think. Quite liking that. And get some of this dark and break out of this area. It is really dark area there. Using a bit of the blue, a bit of that ultramarine blue can really deepen that area. Just using a bit of depth, colour, using colour to create depth. Blue areas, sending it deeper. Quite like that. Some more of this. some light kind of hitting a few of these areas. Yeah, I need a bit more there. Load of colour. Let that paint just drop on there. I want some really bright spots in here as well. I think it's really light there. Something like that. So you could really go for these and really go for like a lot of detail, do every little leaf with a little brush if you wanted. It wouldn't really matter. I like playing with the paint, changing it, doing different things. Some areas I quite like this sort of softness. I do actually like that. And some I want to give it a bit more to it. A bit more dark. Just going to wipe my brush. I'll leave it. Some of those accidental brown bits do actually look quite good when I step away. I want to keep that line of light there. Some of it can sort of break away. That really thick paint there. Impasto. This sort of dark bluey red. I'll put these tree trunks in first. I was getting ahead of myself then. Let's get some browns. And some of these burnt sienna, burnt umber. Maybe a bit of the crimson and blue in it as well. Quite dark colour. Well, this tree here. See, I left that on purpose so I could cover up areas. Oops, a bit of paint there. Bit of dried paint. I'll bring this down as well, behind there. a while ago where I sat in the woods and I painted, and I was amazed the amount of sticks and twigs that were around. That was probably my biggest shock. Like, I don't know why. Of course there would be a lot of branches everywhere, wouldn't there? But yeah, for some reason I was surprised at it. I guess I never thought how many there would be. It was just covered in branches everywhere, every which way. I kind of think about that when I paint now. Just remember that there is branches in every shape that you can think of, and every single way you can think of, they're there. Let's get a bit of this red and yellow and white, and add a bit of light to this tree, because it's getting light on this one side. Sort of bending down in that one. We'll keep it going. There's a little bit on this tree as well. Yeah. You can see a bit of the trunk there. Yeah, something like that. I'll do. Now I'll put some, get my bit of paper. I haven't got this. This tree's a bit faint. It was a bit darker than that. Maybe that'll do. Maybe it is just like that because of it's not managing to get as much light. Now I want some leaves going across this as well, so I have to go quite thick. Thick paint, because otherwise it won't stick. Go a bit darker. I think one of the big tips in painting as well, for painting thick paint like this, is pressure. The amount of pressure that you put on, because if you put on a lot of pressure with your green, it's going to mix with that brown and then you're going to lose it. You're going to mix together. Got some bigger leaves up here. And they're quite dark. Going to put another level of darkness in here as well. some leaves in. Something like that. I quite like that. Only thing probably I would break up some of this. Maybe go a bit darker there as well. Yeah, in some areas I can go a bit darker. What I'm thinking as well is if I go a bit darker there, it's going to make that lighter, and I want that to happen. Yeah, so I prefer that now because now this bit's a lot lighter and I can break some of the barriers. With a really bright yellowy green just to break some of these. Like that. Well, yeah, I quite like that. I quite like that little forest scene. You can imagine like a deer running through here, and I have seen that a few times actually. There's actually one of those monk jacks, I think they call them. Really interesting though. It was making a funny barking noise. I wondered if it was alright, but I found out later that that's a normal sound. But yeah, I think we'll go with that. Something a bit foresty. I hope you enjoyed that one. I'm going to do a few more scenes, forests, seascapes. Actually, I'm going to do a seascape next. So hopefully you'll want to see it, and I'll see you at another one. Cheers, bye.